All right, let's go ahead and get into the very last chapter in the last unit for Financial Math 2. And this is on mathematically modeling a business. Our objectives for today: I will recognize the transitive property of dependence as it is used in a business model, and I will multiply pieces of information, equations, and methodologies to model a new business. Our key terms: dependence and transitive property of dependence. Make sure that you've reviewed those in the textbook before moving on with this video. Looking at our first example, it says determine the expense, E, for production of an item when the price P is $60, given an expense equation of E equals 50Q plus 80,000. And Q is 80P plus 100,000. So we actually have two different methods to go through on today. Let's start with method 1. And we are going to go ahead and go through both methods, and I want you to go ahead and work with the method that you're most comfortable with. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with our equation Q equals 80P plus 100,000. Now we know in this case what P is because it's given us that P is 60. So we're going to go ahead and plug that 60 in here. We end up with Q equals 80 times 60 plus that 100,000. 80 times 60 is 4,800 plus the 100,000. And then we end up with Q equals 104800. No. 2 zeros. All right, now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and plug it in to our expense equation, which is our E equals 50 times Q plus the 80,000. So we're going to plug our value of Q that we just found in, and we get E equals 50 times 104,800 plus the 80,000. And then when we multiply that together, we get E equals 5,240,000 plus the 80,000. And finally, my expense total is 5,320,000 for method 1. All right, method 2. For method 2, we're going to actually start with our expense equation, and it's E equals my 50Q plus 80,000. And we're going to plug in our value that we know for Q. So we get E equals 50 times the quantity 80P plus 100,000. I'm going to have to squeeze it in here, plus the 80,000. Next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to change colors here so we can identify it a little better, we're going to go ahead and distribute, and I get E equals 400P plus, and I've got 5 million plus the 80,000. And actually it was, sorry, this should have been, should have been 80P. Let me rewrite that whole area there. So 50 times 80P plus the 100,000, which means in this next one it's not 400P, it's actually 4,000P. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and combine these like terms, and I get E equals 4,000P plus 5 million $80,000. Now I'm going to plug in the $60 into P, and I get E equals 4,000 times that $60 plus the 5,080,000. I end up then with E equals, multiplying that out, I get 24 and 4 zeros, so 240,000 plus the 5,080,000. Adding those together, I get 5,320,000, just like I did before. So really, it says different methods, but it's really just doing one first versus the other, and the other one is just switching it. So I want you to go ahead with the check your understanding, press pause, method of your choice, go ahead and work through it, and then come back when you're ready and we'll solve. All right, method 1, we've got our expense equation, and actually that's method 2, so let's go ahead and keep consistent. So I've got Q equals, and it's 80, because I have my equation here, times P, which is the 42, plus the 100,000. Next I've got Q equals 3360 plus the 100,000. So Q equals 100,000, 3360. From there, I'm going to plug into my expense equation 50 times the 103360 plus the 80,000. And then I have E equals 5,168,000 plus the 80,000. And finally, my expense here, when adding it together, is going to be 5,248,000. Using method 2, let me change pens here. I've got E equals 50 times, I'm going to plug into Q, so I have 80P plus 100,000 plus the 80,000. Next, I'm going to go ahead and distribute, and I've got E equals 4,000P plus 5 million plus the 80,000. Adding those together, I've got E equals 4,000P plus the 5 million and then 80,000. And then I end up with, I'm going to plug in, I've got the 4,000 times the 42 plus the 5 million and 80,000, which then ends up with, and I've got the 5,248,000, just like I did from the first example. So there shows both examples. All right, example 2. It says a business model uses a summary analysis of the situation in terms of dependent variables. Each of these 3 graphs on a business situation for the production of widgets. The graphs depict numerical information that is needed to complete the summary analysis. Write a summary analysis in terms of data presented in the graphs. The summary analysis should always have the following format. So in summary, to start this business, here we're looking at our demand curve or our demand equation, and it's going to cost us $103,020 or $200 to get things started. And I got that from the demand function. And it keep going. It says each should be sold for, right here in the demand function, each should be sold for $40. The break-even point is reached at a price of, well, our break-even points are down here, and they are here and here, which is at our X values of $14.83 or $65.17. Let me go ahead and erase my little arrow here so we can read everything. But a profit is made at any price between those two prices. So next we have at the selling price, there is a revenue of, and if we look at that down here, we've got our revenue curve, and it's at the 40 and then 800,000. So the revenue is the 800,000, and expenses of, so now we need to look at our expense curve here, and our expenses at the very top here were 400, and actually it's right here. Expense was 420,000, resulting in a profit of 380,000. And I got the profit by taking the revenue, which was the 800,000, and subtracting my expenses at 420,000, which gave me the 380,000 in expenses. And that breaks this out. Okay, please press pause. Go ahead and solve this, and when you're ready, come back. Okay, it says use the points labeled on the graphs to show that the maximum profit at the selling price and the difference between the revenue and the expense at that price. So kind of glancing here, we've got our profit going on here, and the maximum point on the profit function is right here at the $380,000. That's our maximum profit, okay? So we're looking at the point of selling it at 40 apiece. Maximum profit is going to be the 380,000. The expense is the $40, and the 420,000 is the revenue. And we get the 420,000 from our revenue curve here. We've got 800,000 here, and then our revenue from the expense is 420,000. So we're able to take again that 800,000, subtract the 420,000, so that we get our overall profit, which is what this is asking for. So we're almost kind of redoing what we just did in the original question, and I kind of jumped ahead a little bit. So 800,000 is the revenue, 420,000 is the cost or the expense to run this business. The difference is pure profit, and that's the $380,000. And that's it for this chapter. That's it for this course. So good job, everyone, for sticking with it.